Somebody throw me a lifeline, tell me what I should do. 'Cause I'm still trying to find my breakthrough, or the path that I should pursue. Just when I think things are going my way.
Hey everyone, I'm Mackayla. Welcome to the Soundtrack of Our Lives podcast. We're going to kick things off with the two hardest questions of all. Who are you and what have you been up to recently?
Wow. Hi, everyone. My name's Maddie. I'm a singer-songwriter from the Bay Area. And recently, what I've been up to is I just released my second song at the end of June called When Can I Say I'm Finally Okay?
So exciting. It's such a great song.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what was the process like? Because it's been a little while since you put out another song. What was it like
Yeah.
doing it again?
It was definitely long overdue, but I know for me, this song took a lot of like a couple years to put into fruition.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that I took the time to do that. And I kind of, had started getting this message going I graduated right after the pandemic from college. So the start of, shut down everything, there was no opportunity for any like a normal college transition experience. And so from kind of throughout the pandemic to, even kind of currently now, I was struggling a lot with kind of where does my career path go?
Mm-hmm.
Where am I going to be, now that, it wasn't a conventional, like, out of college landed job kind of
Right.
thing. And so I was kind of facing a lot of rejection. I was facing a lot of like no's or, not the right time, or you get like through a third interview, fourth interview, and then it's
Yep.
a no. And I do really look every single time, jobs, jobs, jobs. And, this song, came into fruition because of the rejection, because of feeling like, when will I have that breakthrough in life? When
Mm-hmm.
will I be able to be like, yeah, like I feel really good with where I am in this and today in my life, like career, my life, personal wise, like I feel really good. And that's kind of where that message came into the song of just feeling like where am I gonna be okay with where I am today?
Yeah.
Like, after all like no's and rejection and all this struggle and like feeling like, pandemic was not helping with any of that. It's just kind of where am I be able to find my footing in the world, and when is someone be able to see like potential in me? That's kind of where that
Yeah.
message kind of came.
I feel like that's something that our generation, because I also graduated right after the pandemic, I think that's something that our generation really struggles with because like our parents' generation was more so you get a job and then that's your job. But our
You're
generation
into
is
the
more
workforce.
so right. Our
Exactly.
generation is more so like,
Yeah.
oh, try this out, try that out, kind of figure out what you want to do. And
Mhm.
that leads to so much more uncertainty.
Yes, I completely agree because, you know, I'm the youngest I have two older siblings, and to
Hmm.
see them graduate and in college and to attend their college graduations, and then me looking down the line, I'm like, oh, I'm excited for mine. And then boom, the world is like shut down. So we
Yep.
never we never got that experience. And I did walk 2 years later, but still like it wasn't that transition of like I'm into the world, I'm starting my career like in the field I want to be in. And so that was kind of the hard part. And I do digital marketing for artists on the side of my music. I also promote my own music as
Hmm.
well. And so that's really kind of where I'm finding like my trying to find my footing as a career path with combining my music and digital marketing together. I feel like it's super important that artists have the tools, the skills, and the knowledge to promote
Hmm.
themselves on social media. And so that's kind of where I've taken my freelance work that kind of was built during the pandemic of clients, virtual clients that
Hmm.
I had gotten referrals from, and built that up. And now it's kind of time to be like, yeah, let's get that into like my long-term career path. And like, when am I happy with where I am today? That's kind of, the song, the vision,
Yeah.
all that. I know rejection
Yeah.
is different for everybody.
Yeah.
And, maybe people listen to the song and they don't take it as like rejection in their career. It could be in a personal relationship, or it could be something personally in life that they're dealing with
Mm-hmm.
that is, that they faced rejection, something that's completely different. And that's what I kind of just wanted people to listen to this song and be like, okay, how can they find themselves
Yeah.
through this message? Whether, it be whatever you're dealing with, or if it's in the past, you've dealt with rejection in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and you can find yourself through this message and you can relate to that. That's kind of really what my whole, aim and focus was. It can really have, people can find themselves many different angles and
Yeah.
ways through this song.
Do
Yeah.
you think that you've found a point in your life where you're kind of happy where you're at right now? Or is that something you're still working towards?
Still working on, for sure, still working on. I've come to kind of, the place where it's like I work, I work in music. I also don't work in out I work outside of music. And to meet that job
Mm-hmm.
and also still perform and doing music on the side, because ultimately, I've learned since the pandemic that you have to find your footing somewhere, and maybe
Yeah.
that might not exactly, like, for me it may not exactly be right in the music industry, but to still have digital marketing as my forefront into something that I do really want to still continue
Mm-hmm.
to incorporate into my career. It's just important, regardless whether that be in the music industry or not, just to
Yeah.
have that like footing. And so that's kind of what I have been focusing on during that big gap of time when I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
releasing music. I was trying to find my job, trying to find a job, and
Yep.
trying to find a career path in this world. And so then all during that time is how that song kind of came to be. And so, like, I feel so happy with how it turned out. It's like kind of becoming of the song where you're finding your sound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I loved out of this project. So it felt really good.
Good. It sounds amazing.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
it.
thank you. Yeah, the producer I worked with, Mark Aguilar, he went to Berklee College of Music.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't cross paths at all over that time, but I had a friend who's worked with him on other songs, and I just love the production that he did for her songs. And so I'm like, I would love to kind of be interested in like speaking with him. And it just really worked so well, both of us together, because it was, you know, be able to find the balance of my own sound and
Mm-hmm.
then taking from, ideas from other artists,
Yeah.
other sections in their music, and kind of intertwining that together to find my own sound was really such a great balance, and something that I feel like I found, myself through
Mm-hmm.
the
Who would
project.
you say were some of the main influences on this single?
For sure, Gracie Abrams.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, her song, I Miss You, I'm Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, I mean, it's just, I can't, when I hear that song, it was, to me, spoke so much on the instrumentation and the vocals and how, and the background vocals.
Mm-hmm.
There's this part in the song towards the end where she has the bridge and then she layers the bridge over the chorus again. So you
Yeah.
get these like little peaks of, like, you can hear her voice in the background in the chorus, but then the bridge is like kind of still the main focus, so you can have a balance of both. And that was a huge kind of like vision of mine that I wanted to somehow incorporate into my song. And so I really felt like it just was executed so well, because when I producer really just made it to be the balance of both, but there's still the spotlight of the
Mm-hmm.
bridge lyrics that you can still hear clearly, and the chorus is underneath it and it sits right underneath, and it's just kind of a blend of like just voices. It's just, I loved it. I just thought that was a huge inspiration from that
Mm-hmm.
song, that section. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely, now knowing that, I could definitely hear that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yes, yes. That was kind of like, just the narrow vocal point of like using from an artist,
Mm-hmm.
but making it your own way.
Right.
Yeah.
So kind of going more towards what you're talking about with like digital media. So this day and age, how important do you think it is for someone to also be focused on the digital like the digital media aspect versus just making the music?
Amazing, amazing, amazing question. Great question. While I was at Berkeley, I took 2 courses in digital marketing on promoting yourself as an artist, making a marketing plan for a release or an album or a single, whatever that may be. And that taught me so much about the different types of marketing, digital, word of mouth, like, PR, all those different avenues of marketing. Through that, channeling your audience and finding your audience, I think is crucial for singer-songwriters, musicians, artists, anything. Because for you to know who your target audience is will help you be able to know, how am I going to approach this marketing strategy? What is the age group I'm kind of focusing on? What are their interests? What do they, what are the gender, male, female, all gender, inclusive, everything. And I think, it's so important to have the knowledge of that so you can better understand, how are you going to attract more of those fans? How are you going to reach them? How are you going to, most importantly, give them what they want? Like, what are they interested in listening? Do they listen on Spotify, iTunes? Do they still buy CDs? How do they listen to their music? Even down to that, and then to their interests of, like, what do they like outside of music?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I thought, it was so important to have a mix of social media content, digital ads, whether on Facebook and Instagram, and then also a press release. And, having the balance of, digital marketing and then also press from outside, in your area, your local area, I think is so important. And it's such good practice to write a press release. Reach out to local contacts in your area who do coverage of new releases, new music, and establish those relationships early on in your career. I think is so important, because then down the line, you have another release, and then someone in the past who's written a review for you, you can reach out to them again and be like, hi, so-and-so, I'm just, we connected a few years ago on my other release. You wrote a review for it. I have a new release coming up. I would love to share it with you. It's building those relationships early on in your music career and making those connections early on that you can add to your press and contact list, I think is so important to have, under your belt, starting off as an independent artist. For sure.
So would you say that the number one thing you would recommend was just to make those local contacts?
Yeah, make the local contacts, but also in knowing your target audience. Like, for I use my Spotify for Artists account where I can learn, what is my target age? The people that it tells me, the people that I'm, the age group that's listening most of my music, the gender, where are they located? Using those data points and transferring that to your Facebook and Instagram ads and configuring your audience in there and using that insights and transferring that into building your audience and who you're going to target in those ads is super helpful to, I think, me. Because then it might tell you from there, okay, well, I reached a lot more on this age group with this Facebook ad, and then on Instagram than Instagram, kind of thing. And so, knowing your target audience, I think is just crucial, because it's who you're making music for.
Yeah.
You want to know what are they interested in, kind of thing. Yeah, I think it's huge. And that's something I'm still finding out as well. But, knowing that my music, a lot about mental health, a lot about, personal struggles, things kind of happening currently in the world today. And, finding that outlet of people who relate to that is something that is my focus through my music. Yeah.
So if you had an artist that you're working with come to you and tell you that they're like afraid of social media, they don't like it, what would you tell them?
Don't be afraid, because, it's a lot to balance with being an artist, promoting yourself, finding the tools, and being an independent artist and doing all that.
Yeah.
And so I think, having your basics of like content creation, making a reel, making something on Canva. There's these little small, like these tools that you don't have to have such big Photoshop, Adobe programs to be able to use it. You could just use Canva and those basic social media apps and just really capturing as much content. That I think is huge. During your writing process, during the recording process, capturing as much content as you can, using that later in the promotion, whether it be through reels, whether that be through, graphic still images, a GIF, all that, I think is just so important to have the content under your belt before you put that release out, so you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to post today? I don't know. I already did this, I did that. Like, and having as much content. And I use ChatGPT to get ideas. It gave me, I said, here's, the release I'm putting out. The song is about this. I have this type of like content that I've already have taken and recorded. What are some like, social media content ideas that I can post on Instagram and Facebook? And they gave me just like bullet points, and they broke down kind of a little description of each like post. And I mean, I took that, put it into a spreadsheet for myself, and then tracked, all of that on the spreadsheet when I posted it, when I want to get the post out, scheduling it in advance, and having that organization, I think, is crucial. It's hard to balance all this, but having the right social media tools and the right, way and workflow that would work for you is really going to help you stay on track and be organized. And it doesn't have to be such elaborate thing. If you can just really use these social media apps, Canva, and use the templates in there to make it your own. And use the templates and have them, bring them, they make them go them farther than what they are. Like give your own kind of spin to it. I love using templates and then adding kind of stuff over that additionally that I think would, into my content, I think is so important. Yeah. And so just, it's finding the balance, finding the organization, and just having a social media plan, just having, scheduling out and planning out a bunch of content ahead of time, and then doing your research on finding press contacts out in your area. And I think that those, having that all in a spreadsheet really is going to save you time and not overwhelm you so much, but you have it all planned out in front of you. Now it's just time to execute it, and making the time during the week to make content out of time will be so helpful. Really, really helpful, I think.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that's a lot harder for independent artists, because a lot of them, they're smaller, so sometimes they also have full-time jobs and whatnot. I'm like, I have this, but I also have a full-time job, and
that's exactly how I feel. And it's, maybe it's like, take your weekend, you're done, a Saturday, carve out 2 hours during the day to get a lot of content created, ready ahead of time for the week, so you can have it planned out and scheduled. And I mean, maybe it doesn't mean trying to post every single day. Of course, great, posting it every other day, but having that all mapped out will give you the ease of mind to be like, knowing that you have that planned and scheduled, and you don't have to take it day by day and figure out what content you're going to do the next day and stuff. And I think this does not necessarily go into marketing, but it's so important that artists also protect themselves and their work with copyright. I think that's a huge thing that people kind of they overlook, in the idea that you've created something, you're putting it out there to the public to listen. You want to have protection of copyright for the song, lyrics, everything, and also the cover art. And, filing for copyright is huge. I think it's very important that artists know how to do the copyright process, and that for sure is intimidating. But knowing the process and having that security that you copyrighted your song, you have that protection down the line if something happens, I think is crucial for all
Yeah.
artists to have to do.
Yeah, I mean, you see all the lawsuits that happen, and
Exactly. You always just want to be, you want to just have as much protection as you can, whether that comes putting your art out there, you
Mhm.
never know. And so I think, also, filing with the Performing Rights Organization, ASCAP, BMI, and, just having these tools out there and in really taking advantage of it is, I just think it's so important to have as much protection as you can when putting out your
Mhm.
music and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So going back to your music, so
Yeah.
there was a bit of a break between your two releases. Do you
Yeah.
have plans for another break, or what does that look like for you going forward?
Oh no, I want to, for me, I have been definitely thinking about moving to Nashville in like the near 6 months
Mm-hmm.
future, and really immersing myself down in there in the music
Mm-hmm.
community. And I really kind of using that as a way, to just dig deeper into my music.
Yep.
I'm here in the Bay Area right now. There is music scene here, but I went to Nashville one summer with my friends, and I could just see it, like just how lively the community is. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
just country, like pop, R&B, all different diverse genres. And so for me to just be around that, I think is definitely something that I'm, like really going down that path and thinking about, and relocating and moving there and doing the marketing, the digital marketing there, doing my music there
Mm-hmm.
together, I think is something of a definitely a goal of mine in the near future. And having, a nice setup and just of all the recording for myself that I have my keyboard, I have like a mic, but I'm talking, I really like to have a nice setup of all that, and
Mm-hmm.
dedicating more time and being in a place where I'm around a music community, I think for me is a different, it's an outlook of making more music. And definitely, that's definitely a goal of mine. Making more music, focusing on putting out, more singles. Ultimately, I would love to do just a big, an album EP down the line
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. I'm currently still writing right now on a song, and so I have a lot of different ideas,
Yeah.
and you jump back and forth, but it's knowing like, okay, so I think I've developed this idea out pretty good foundation. Now let's start to put it into like the song it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I definitely see myself kind of relocating to Nashville, really kind of getting more immersed into the music community there, the gigs, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and just being surrounded around more musicians,
Mm-hmm.
particularly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that sounds exciting. I can't wait to hear more music from you.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel so good, releasing this song that I knew like that break, I focused a lot more on personal life,
Mm-hmm.
getting my career path ready and kind of trying to get on that track. And sometimes that didn't always pan out to how
Yeah.
the timeline you would hoping to be. And then you kind of had to say to yourself, you know what? This song, music is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, I've had this on for a few years, and I want to get back into it. And that's really kind of what this has shown me, kind of
Yeah.
releasing the song, that it is something I need to just, you know, not your timeline doesn't always work.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
put it out there. And I told myself last year, like I made that a thing to just get back into writing more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how this came to be. And that's something I, want to take into me to the next year, is just more consistent writing and putting that more at the forefront of things, and not
Mm-hmm.
how, a timeline might not always work out, but don't neglect the passion.
Yeah.
Don't, yeah, like, I've learned a lot during that break, and I think I put music on the back burner too much. And now looking back, I want to, keep that at the forefront, and
Mm-hmm.
don't let so many other these career paths take away from, your passion, and
Yeah.
using music. Look, that all the rejection I face put into my music.
Mm-hmm.
So these things I do face in life, yes, they are for a reason, and then they get put into my music. So that's kind of that's a pro
Mm-hmm.
like facing these things, but yeah, like I think that's a really important thing of just keeping everything that you want to do at the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lose that, whether you're dealing with something in life and maybe something's not going your way, you know, just, you will you'll find eventually, what you want to do. Just don't lose
Mm-hmm.
what your forefront passion is. And I think that's really what, releasing this song has shown me, that I need to just really keep putting, my music at the forefront of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely easier said than done, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, totally, totally, totally. I think, it's finding that work-life balance, music
Mm-hmm.
on the side, but then together,
Yep.
balancing both of them. I think that's a huge goal of mine. Huge goal. Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
know if that's something that you'll ever feel like you've accomplished, you know?
Right. That's the hard part. It's like, okay, so do I have a balance of both, or am I focusing more like on career, the income, my money, and then the music on the side? That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what it felt like these past few years. And so now it's seeing the balance of both. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what I definitely want to take into the new year with me. And work, the song I'm working on right now, and you know, more to, coming, is just keeping the consistency.
Yeah. So before I ask the last question, was there anything
Yeah.
else that you wanted to mention or talk about today?
I think, those are the two huge things, marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And please, if you have marketing questions, anyone like, listening, when you listen to this, like anyone that has marketing questions, reach out to me, please. Like if you just, you need someone to bounce strategies off of, ideas, I love doing that stuff. That's what I do with freelance clients. I get on a call with them and I work out different content for them, and then we come up a plan, and then them, and I create the content for them. And so if you ever just feel like, as an artist, or not even, maybe not even an artist, and you are in marketing but you are kind of stuck, and how do I approach promoting this release, what content might be good for this, and
Mm-hmm.
how do I execute, totally, I love talking about that stuff. And of course music too.
Yeah, I can
What
definitely hear
I
your
Yeah,
passion for
yeah,
marketing
yeah.
and for music.
Yeah, I think it's something down the line that artists need to have control over,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing your how to balance both of those, and having that marketing be a focus, and writing and being an artist and balancing both, I think,
Mm-hmm.
is huge. Yeah.
Okay, so the last question is, what is the soundtrack of your life?
Oh boy. Um, boy, I should like you're gonna think this out a little bit more beforehand. Um, I I write, all Taylor Swift,
Mm-hmm.
totally. Demi Lovato's making a comeback, but I think just songs that are so raw and emotional, and bring awareness to things happening in this world today, I think are super important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of music I strive to write. And music that, you can sit down, listen intently, and be like, wow, I could really find myself through that song. I really could gravitate towards that message, and I found a way that it could relate to my life
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm going through right now currently. And that those songs really speak to me. I could probably name off so many titles, of that, but it's kind of that music that really just makes you look in life and be like, wow, I really found myself through that
Mm-hmm.
song. It really spoke to me. I could find a way that my life fit in with those lyrics, fit in with what that message was trying to tell me. And whether that be relationship, mental health, stuff that's going on right now in the world, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot going on. And, you know, writing music that supports people and what they're going in through life, I think, is so important. And that's what I want to focus on in art as an artist, is writing music that helps people
Mm-hmm.
through whatever their challenges facing, mental health, specifically. And so I do find myself branching out sometimes and not even talking about mental health. But I think that will something always still kind of be at the forefront of things. And it's a big part of my life. And so that's the soundtrack of my life really would just be songs that bring that message to you, bring something that you can relate to, give, you something to listen to bring you through those hard times. I think that's a huge, huge aspect of, as myself as an artist and what I listen to in music too.
So for all of our listeners who want to stay updated on you, see what happens next, where can they find you?
So Instagram, Maddy Michaels Music, MMM, kind of as I put that out. And then also Maddy Michaels, like on Facebook page, and I think / Maddy Michaels Music. And then on TikTok, yes, Maddy Michaels Music. So yeah, just kind of at Maddy Michaels. That's kind of, at maddymichaels.com. Yeah. So same with Spotify and iTunes and iTunes and Apple Music. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So much fun.
Awesome.
Like anyone who listens will walk away with a new social media strategy.
I hope so. Reach out if you have questions. I'm here. Awesome. Thank you.
Well, have a nice rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Listeners, go check them out, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Blue Sky, and TikTok at STO Lives Podcast. Thanks for listening.
It's been too long since I've been